Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Confessions of a Yarn Addict podcast. I do not know which episode we're on now. I think probably 128 maybe. We didn't have a podcast last week because I was in Norway. I am still in Norway, which is why the background is a little bit different. I'm going to share with you what I've been knitting while I've been in Norway. My last podcast episode I filmed a few days before I left, and I was talking about what yarn I was taking with me to Norway and the project I was planning to work on, so I will share some progress on that. I've actually finished something. I've been to one yarn shop. I've been very cautious by going to yarn shops on this trip because I don't have much luggage space, but more about that later. We've had quite a few days out. We've had a very mixed weather. I'm struggling a bit with the lighting because obviously I'm not in my normal location. I don't have my tripod, I don't have my ring light, so I am struggling a bit with the position of the camera, which is stacked on a bunch of books, and also with the lighting. So we'll see. I've turned it was quite bright. I've just filmed another video and it was quite bright in here, but it's going to be darker outside now, so I turned the ceiling light on to get a bit of light rather than the desk light, which was a bit too yellow. I am going to share with you a new design for a magazine that's just been published, plus what I've been knitting, plus what else we've been doing while we've been in Norway. If you're new here, my name is Anniken. I design knitting patterns. I teach knitting workshops online and in person, and I sell yarn through my website YarnAddict.co.uk. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. It really helps me to get my videos seen. If you subscribe, like, comment, all that kind of stuff, it'll push my video into the feeds of other people that might like the same kind of stuff as you do. So let's first talk about a couple of housekeeping things. So by the time this video is live, I'll be back home again and my online shop will be open again. I'm actually going to open it after I finish filming this. So by the time this video is out on Thursday, I will be back home and the video and the website will be open again. I'll link my website where you can sign up to my newsletter and shop my yarn and beads and all books and all that kind of stuff below this video, and you can also find links to my social media and stuff there. I've got loads of workshops coming up next week on, I think it's Tuesday, but I'll put the details below, and it's on my website on my workshop page as well. I'm teaching my Mobius cowl workshop at Spinner Yarn in Bovey Tracy. I'll put a picture on the screen of one of my Mobius cowls. So if you're interested in that, it's in Devon, just south of Exeter at Spinner Yarn. Do check it out. I will link their website below, and I'll also put it on the screen, so contact them for full details and to book. And then I've got other workshops later this autumn at Spinner Yarn, at the Knitting Hotel in Dawlish in Devon, and at Yarndale which I think is in like 2 weeks time. Not long. When I get home, it'll be full on Yarndale prep. But I'm teaching a workshop at Yarndale, which I think is fully booked, but I'll also be selling my yarn there. And then I've got workshops in Lisgard for 3 bags full and the 3 bags full wool market in October. And then I'm teaching at Stitchfest in Newton Abbot in Devon. I'm teaching finishing techniques for half a day, the first Saturday in November, and then I'm coming back to Norway. So quite a busy time when I get home before I come back to Norway again in November. So before we get into the knitting, I'm going to show you one of the days out we've had. We've had quite a lot of days out, and I'll have to see how much I put into this video and how much I leave for the next one. But it's been a bit mixed since we've been here. We've had some very good days where it was high 20s and very, very hot. And we've had some days like today, but it's raining. Last night there were thunder and lightning, and today's been raining quite a lot. We have still been out today, but it was very wet. And then we've had some days that have just been kind of average. But one of the first things we did was go to a town south of here called Fredrikstad. There's an old part of that town. I said to my parents, I've been to the old town now quite a few times because we always go every time I come, but I've never been to the new part of Fredrikstad. I've never been to the main town centre. I don't think it's that exciting. If you live in Fredrikstad and you watch this, I apologise. If I need to go, tell me and I will do that next time. But the old town is beautiful. It's like a fortified old town. Used to be a fortress, I guess. There used to be a lot of military stuff there. It's cobblestone roads, some cute little shops, lots of pretty houses, wooden houses, and it's quite nice to walk around there. We didn't walk around as much as we normally do because both my parents have mobility problems. But we had a drink and a waffle in one of the coffee shops there and a little wander around, and it was really nice. So I'm going to share a little video of that now with you. Okay, so before we get on to what I've been knitting, let's just talk about a design for the Knitting magazine. So I did a video on this that came out on Tuesday this week. So if you want to know more, go and watch that video. I show you what the actual design looked like on my dress form at home before I sent it off. And then I show you what it looks like on the model in the magazine and a few other things that are in this issue of the Knitter, which is in the shops in the UK now. You can also find digital copies online. So my design is Gallica. I think that's correctly pronounced. That's what it looks like, and that's the other picture they have. So they have two full page pictures. It is designed to be loose and comfortable. In the video on Tuesday I was talking about it being a sort of summer top because I thought it was going to be published earlier in the summer, and obviously we're now really into autumn, but I think it would look really good layered under, say, like a blazer or something like that, so you could wear it for work or slightly smarter occasions over like smart trousers or a skirt, and then with a blazer over the top. Or you could wear a t-shirt, long sleeve t-shirt underneath it and use it as a layering piece. I knitted it in Rowan Summer Light 4-ply, but you can obviously also try other 4-plies. Just make sure you get the right tension. And yeah, I really like it. So go and check out Tuesday's video and you can see what else is in that issue of the magazine. I'm sitting on my parents' balcony. It's gone 6 o'clock in the evening and it's still probably 25 degrees outside. It's been so hot today. And I am exactly, I think, halfway on my scarf. I've done 12 repeats. I've just started repeat number 13. I think I'm going to have enough yarn to do 23 or 24 repeats. So I may be just over halfway, but I'm really pleased with this so far. And I'm on my own out here. And I can't really see very much because the blinds are down, but that is my view, so nothing very exciting to look at. I cast on this before I left. I was talking about it in the last podcast episode. I have a tiny bit of yarn left. I am thinking about maybe adding a repeat or two, but I've cast off. I'm thinking I probably have enough yarn to add another 1 or 2 repeats, but I kind of wanted to finish it. I had in my mind I wanted to finish it, but I got like probably like 3 or 4 grams left, and I think I used 1.25 grams per 10 row repeat, I think. So I could have had another repeat. So normally I will allow a bit of a safety margin for whatever I design. With this I haven't, because this yarn is quite expensive. So the yarn I've knitted it in, let's talk about the yarn first. It is Kiviak by what are they called again? Windy Valley Muskox in Alaska. I don't remember buying this yarn. I have no idea when I bought it, but it's been in my stash for years. And every year or two, I take it out and think I should knit something with it, and then I can't decide what to knit. So then I haven't knitted. But the ball was 28.5 grams, which is about 200 meters. And it's called Kiviak with a K. And I wasn't sure why, because I thought it was called Kiviat with a T. but I actually found them on Instagram, and they have, you know, interacted with me on a couple of times when I've shared this on my Instagram. I sent them a message yesterday and said, why is it called kiviak? Is it the same as kiviat? And they said basically kiviat comes from the sort of undercoat of a muskox. And because obviously it's not a word you can trademark because it's the actual fiber, like you couldn't trademark wool, for example. So they changed it to kiviak with a K so they could trademark it, so that, you know, if it says kiviak with a K, it's their kiviat that's spun and harvested and everything to their standards, I guess. So that's what they told me. So it is 100%, it is kiviat. And the yarns I used was this lighter color is 50% kiviat, 50% mulberry silk. So this darker color is 45% kiviat, 45% extra fine merino wool, and 10% mulberry silk. And I'm going to keep those and take them home with me. I might add another repeater too. I want to block it first and see how much it blocks out. So this is what it looks like. I have finished it. I have added beads to it, 2 different colored beads. I'm thinking I should have gone for these lighter beads all the way through, because the darker beads you can't see so well. But what I was hoping I would be able to do is sew the short ends together here, and then put it around my neck and wrap it, either wear it in like a loose loop around my neck, or wrap it around my neck twice. I got a mouthful of kiviat like that, but at the moment it's tiny bit short for that. So I'm going to see how it blocks up when I get home, and if I think I can add another repeat or 2, I will do that. So I haven't woven in any ends or anything. I'm going to block it first, see how long it is, and also see whether when I blocked it, whether it keeps that blocked shape or whether it shrinks back. And then I might add another repeat or 2, because normally I would need to leave a safety margin. I'm not worried about doing that with this because this yarn is so expensive. And my advice in the pattern would be weigh your yarn for each repeat and then work out how much you can do to make sure you make the most of your precious yarn. Obviously you can knit this in other lace weight yarns, like regular merino lace weight, merino silk, alpaca silk, cashmere, whatever, because I appreciate not everyone's going to have access to kiviat. I'm also going to probably knit it in a 4-ply yarn, I think. So let's talk more about some of the stuff we've done while we've been in Norway. We visited a yarn shop in a town called Ski, which is about halfway between where I am and Oslo. You can get on the train from Oslo. It's a lovely yarn shop. They have moved to a different location in the same shopping centre, and it's a little bit smaller, but I don't think their stock has changed. I still think they stock a lot of yarn. But if you're visiting Oslo, I'm not sure it's worth getting the train out to Ski to visit it. They have got some shops in Oslo as well, but there are so many other yarn shops in Oslo that I probably wouldn't get a train out from Oslo just to visit it. So I went there with my mum. She was looking for yarn for a sweater, and so I helped her choose some yarn. I got her to buy some pink yarn that I really like. I didn't buy any yarn because I'm traveling with a backpack only. We're traveling with Ryanair, and I bought a basic ticket. So all I can take is a backpack that has to fit under the seat in front of me. And it was pretty full when I got here, so I've been very careful. I thought I daren't buy any yarn because I've got to fit everything in there on the way home, otherwise they'll charge me extra. So I'm being very, very strict. The only reason I would buy yarn is if I finish my other project by tomorrow, kind of just after lunch, and then I will go and buy all the sock yarn, so I got some to knit on the way home, but I don't think I'm going to need that. One day last week we went into Oslo. It was the hottest day we've had since we've been here. It was about 27, 28 degrees in Oslo. It was so hot. We started out by, we got the train into Oslo, and then we went on the bus to a place called Telthusbakken. What's it called? Telthusbakken. I first saw about this on a video by Anna and Carlos, who are Norwegian knitwear designers and YouTubers. I'm sure most of you have probably heard about them, but just search their name on YouTube, you'll find them. They're huge. They did a video from there earlier in the year, I think, and it's all wooden houses. There are a few places in Oslo where there are these old wooden houses that look quite cute. And we decided that we wanted to walk down there. The hill wasn't as long as I thought it was, and where the location is, I'm not sure I would go there again. It's very pretty, but it's a bit out of the way basically. But when you get to the bottom of the hill, we went across the road into a park which leads to the river that goes through Oslo called Akerselva, and we walked along there for a little bit and took some footage from there. And then we got the tram into the city centre, and we went on a boat trip around the Oslo fjord, which we've done before. Weather was beautiful, so we were able to sit outside. Normally when we go it's winter and we have to sit inside, but we sat outside and it was beautiful. It was quite nice because it was a bit breezy, so it was a chance to cool down a bit because it was so hot. And then we had planned to do a couple other things, but it was just so hot that we decided to get the train back home again. So I'll show you this video clip from Oslo now. talk about the other thing I've been knitting. I also bought with me a ball of yarn from the Discreet Unicorn. The yarn is called Silver Sparkle Sock, and it is in Barbie pink. It's 75% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 5% stellina, and it is in Barbie pink. And I cast on for a hat, which I showed you in the last podcast 2 weeks ago, and I knitted the crown at home, and then I've been knitting this when we were traveling here. I knitted in the car, at the airport, a little bit on the plane, and since we've been here, this has been my kind of out and about project. So when we've been out and about, I've taken this with me and knitted on it. And since I finished the Kivia project, the brioche project, I've been knitting on this a bit more. So I am actually just over halfway. I was going to put it on the cable and barber cord and try it on, but I forgot, and it's so hot in there, I don't want to do it. But what I'll do is, after I finish filming this, I will go back onto the balcony to knit, and I will take it off on the barber cord, try it on, take a picture and insert that here so you can see what it looks like. But I'm just over halfway. It's going to be like a double layer hat. So if you think that this is the inside, then it will be kind of folded over like that. Hang on. Like that. So you'd have right side on the inside and right side on the outside. Does that make sense? So I'm going to knit up to here and then do decreases. I was thinking that maybe I will get this finished by tomorrow afternoon, and then I can run down to the yarn shop and get a ball out to knit on Wednesday when we go home. But realistically, I don't think I'm going to finish this. I think this will probably be finished sometime on the way home. I would like to finish it before we get home, because I do have some other projects I need to cast on when we get home. One of our other days out was yesterday. Yes, yesterday we went down to a seaside town called Witsten, which is actually where I used to live in the 70s. It's where we lived before I started school, and the first 3 years I was at school. And it's also where my husband and I got married nearly 33 years ago. Our wedding anniversary is in 2 weeks' time. Our 33rd wedding anniversary is in two weeks' time. It's actually on when we're at Yarndale at the end of this month. So we parked near the church and we walked, and I got some footage of the church, and the white big building next to the church used to be my primary school. It's an old school. It'd been closed for a long time. They reopened it, I think, the year I started school. It got very overcrowded very quickly, and then after 3 years there, they moved us to a brand new school because it was a bit overcrowded. And then we walked around the village. We walked past our old house. When we lived there, I've marked it in the video where it is. Now it looks like $1 million mansion. It's, well, million krona, several million krona mansion. Krona is the local currency. It's very, very posh looking and probably very expensive. This village wasn't as expensive when we lived there. It was mainly holiday homes. Not that many people lived there permanently. But the house we lived in was owned by the company that my dad worked for, and we lived on the ground floor only. And there was another family on the top floor that moved out not that long after we moved in. And we had a massive garden, much bigger than it is now, because we also had the plot above our plot, which was empty at the time. We could use that as our garden. We had loads of fruit trees, pear trees. They all appear to be gone. I think we had 3 or 4 pear trees, plum trees, cherries, I think, loads of different stuff. It was a perfect place to grow up. We moved from there when I was 9, but it looks very posh now. It was not that posh when we lived there. At some point a few years ago, the whole place was basically, I don't know whether they knocked the whole house down and rebuilt it, but they made massive changes, built a big extension, so it doesn't look exactly like it did when we lived there. But across the road from that house, there is a beach, which was our private beach, and that was quite nice. So it looks very expensive, but it wasn't as expensive when we lived there as it is now. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this footage. did, which I've only done once before. So there's a town not that far from here on the coast between here and Oslo called Drøbak. And just off the coast of Drøbak, there's a little island called where they have a fortress called Oscarsborg. And I know it mostly because we were taught at school at the start of the Second World War, the first German ship that tried to invade Oslo sailed up the Oslo fjord and got shot and sunk at Oscarsborg fortress. And the other ships in that convoy turned around and headed back out the Oslo fjord, and that gave the Norwegian royal family and the government a chance to leave Oslo, and it gave the central bank a chance to hide all the gold reserves and get them out of Oslo as well. And it probably made a big difference to the war effort in Norway in the Second World War. Obviously, the Nazis came back a few days later and invaded Norway, so it didn't stop the invasion, but it did pause it a little bit and give the Norwegian government a chance to get out of Oslo. I'm amazed as a child going to school that was about half an hour's drive away that we never went on a school trip, because we did learn about it in history. But we never went on a school trip, which really surprised me. But then a few times when we've been here, I've thought we really should go. But I didn't know what it was like on the island, but it was worth going. And then 2 years ago when I came with my oldest daughter, Vanessa, she's really keen on history. In fact, both of my daughters really liked history at school. And Vanessa did history at A levels as well. And she was considering doing a history degree and then decided to do maths instead. So we went there. She's particularly interested in World War II history. So we went there 2 years ago. You get a boat trip from Drøbak. It's a 5-minute boat trip, and I think it costs about 120 kroner per adult, and that includes free entry to the whole island and the museum on the island. So on the island there's a hotel, there is a couple of coffee shops, there's a restaurant in the hotel, and there's a museum, and then there's loads of parks and places you can walk, picnic tables. It's really pretty, and the museum is really interesting, and they have like an audio guide that you can listen to on your phone. So bring your earbuds or headphones or something to listen to, because you can scan the QR code and then listen to the audio guide in English and German, I guess also Norwegian, on your phone. Simon hadn't brought his headphones, we both used mine because I have a little set I always keep in my handbag, and they're Bluetooth, so we had one earbud each, and then we listened to it in English, but it's English, German and Norwegian. It's really useful if you're in this area. It's a really interesting trip to take. I believe it says the boat runs all year round, so I'm assuming the museum is also open all year round. I'm coming back in November with my youngest daughter, and she's never been, so if she's interested in going, we might make another trip then. So I'll show you a bit of footage that we took from the boat trip and from the island now. Okay, that's it for today. I've got some more footage of days out and stuff, but I think I'm going to leave that till next week because I think it'll be too much otherwise. I don't want this to be too long and be too much of a travel podcast. So I'll see what I've got left and I might share a bit next week as well. So yeah, no yarn purchases this time, and I've only been to one yarn shop. My favourite yarn shop in the town that my parents live closed down just after I was here last time, I think. It's in the shopping centre where my parents do their grocery shopping. So if it's still been there, I would have popped in because I really like that yarn shop. There is another yarn shop in town. I don't like it as much. They have more choice, but I don't like it as much. They do have some really nice sock yarn though. And I haven't been because I'm not intending to buy anything because I've only got this backpack. So when I pack tomorrow, if I find that I get to the point where I think I'm going to finish my hat, I might pop down and get a ball of sock yarn tomorrow just to have something to knit on the way home. But otherwise I won't, because I have socks on the go at home for Simon, and I've also got a few things I need to knit quite quickly when I go home for workshops and things. So I really need to focus on that. So I'm trying not to get tempted into buying lots of yarn. When I'm coming in November, I'm coming with my daughter, my youngest daughter. I booked to just take a backpack with me then as well, but I have actually lost a bit of weight lately. I've lost 7 kilos before this trip. I probably put on a kilo or 2 while I've been here. But if I lose more before I come next time, my clothes that I have left here, because I've got quite a lot of clothes that I've left here, but they're starting to get to a point where they're getting a bit big for me. So if I lose more weight, I reckon if I lose another like 5 to 7 kilos before I come next time, most of those clothes are going to be too big for me, which means that I will need to bring some clothes with me, which means I've got to take 2 bags and I've got to take a suitcase, so then I can take some yarn home with me. So that's my plan. So my motivation to lose weight between now and November is because I have to take more clothes with me to Norway to replace the ones I've got here, and that means I have space in my suitcase to bring yarn back home with me. Like, that's not a motivation to lose weight. I don't know what is. I've been leaving clothes for the last year, 18 months when I've been. And then last time I came, I took some summer clothes and thought, right, I'll just leave what I've got here so that I only need to travel with a backpack because it'll make it a lot cheaper. You don't save that much per trip, but when you add it up over several trips a year, you do save money. And it also means that if I have to go short notice, if there's a medical emergency or anything, then it's easier to just get on a flight with just my backpack and that kind of thing. You know, public transport up to London, train, underground, all that kind of stuff is just easier if I just have a backpack. But it does mean when I'm here, I can't really buy anything because I haven't got room. So my plan is next time to lose enough weight so I can bring some more clothes with me. I know people would say, well, just buy it in Norway, but it's not that easy when you are like a larger size. The choice isn't always there, so I'd rather bring some clothes with me. So that's the plan for next time, and I do have some yarn in mind I would like to buy next time I come. So watch out for November. Also, when I come in November, I'm planning to, because I'm going to be here for a week with my daughter, and then I'm going to be here for a week on my own because I'm staying on after she goes home. So I'm planning to go into Oslo one day and visit a few yarn shops and do another yarn shop vlog of Oslo. There was a shop I wanted to go to this time, but it's a bit out of the way and it was just so hot and I just couldn't, it was just so hot, too hot. So I decided to leave it till November. So I've already marked out 2 yarn shops I want to visit. So I'll try and do 3 or 4 next time. So make sure you subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Do check out my knitting retreat in Italy next year. Sign up to my newsletter. Check out the new issue of the Knitter magazine. Go and check out my website. If you're going to be a YarnAddict, come and say hello. Only 2 weeks ago. I got so much prep to do. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video, comment, all that kind of stuff. Thanks for watching.